Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Shade of Truth series. So we are right now discussing the attributes of Ibadur Rahman, and a quick revision what we've done so far. Ibadur Rahman are the people. Number one, they walk on the earth with humility, they have a humble character. Number two, when jahilun, yani foolish people address them, they respond with salama, peace. Number three, that they spend a good portion of the night worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number four, and they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save them from the punishment of hellfire. Why? Because they realize that it's a horrible place to be in for a long term or for even a moment. Now, we're going to be continuing forward, and this is going to be the last podcast regarding the attributes of Ibadur Rahman. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Quran, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ وَلَا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما. Now, these are the people. Now we're talking about how do they manage their financial affairs, right? So these are the people that when they spend, they do not go overboard, and they do not show any sort of, stinginess. So they maintain a balance. They maintain a moderate way. That is, بين ذلك قوامة. They remain in between. They're not extravagant nor are they not ready to even spend a penny. So Ibn Qayyim writes in his book Excellence of Patience something so amazing that when you go overboard, you go excessive, what this does is that it takes away the pleasure of that thing, that activity. For example, if you sleep a lot, you are not gonna, it's gonna take away the pleasure of sleep. And if you eat a lot of junk food, and eventually one day you're gonna be like, I don't want to eat KFC anymore, or I do not want to eat Burger King anymore, right? And if you eat a lot of sweet, and eventually you are going to get tired of it, and you will want to try something else. So what moderation does is that it keeps the pleasure of that activity. So it's very important that we have moderation in not just our financial matters, but in every aspect of life. But over here, especially regarding the financial matters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are ready to spend. They understand the fact that whatever they have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. They spend from what we have given them, right? So they realize the fact that whatever I own is not mine. So first of all, I should be ready to spend, and when I spend, I should not go overboard, and I should not be stingy regarding spending. So I should maintain a moderate way. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. And they are those who do not invoke any God beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simply, they do not call upon anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, these are Ibadur Rahman. So Ibadur Rahman, they realize the fact that they are slaves of Ar-Rahman. They have internalized the word Ar-Rahman. And what is Ar-Rahman? Ibn Abbas says about Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim that these are two soft names, one being softer than the other. And Ar-Rahman, so we're gonna dive a little deep into this word. Just imagine any being of whom you've seen a extreme anger of, like extreme anger. You cannot see any other person being crossing that level of anger, right? Just bring that into mind. So that is Ghadban in Arabic. The same vocals is Ar-Rahman, and it's Siratul Mubalagha. Ar-Rahman, it's superlative form, right? So just imagine that anger, that that extreme of anger, and convert it to the opposite. Convert it to its this is like one end of extreme, go to the other end of extreme, that is extreme love and care, and that is the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, do the exact opposite of Ghadban, and just realize that how the extent of love and care Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing me every single moment. And there is another scene where battle has ended and a mom is desperately looking for her child. If nothing, she would just be happy to, she would be content if she doesn't find her child alive, just finds the dead body of the child. But she's going here and there, and eventually she finds her child, and she hugs her child. On one end, the Prophet ﷺ, and his companions are seeing this scene, and the Prophet ﷺ asks his companion, can you imagine this woman throwing her child in the hellfire? And the companions are like, we cannot even imagine that, right? So, and Prophet ﷺ tells them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is way more merciful than what you've just seen over here. So, this is the extent of mercy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing me, the rahmah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing me. And when you internalize this, you realize the fact that why will I call on anyone else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why will I go to someone and any other being who does not even know me, number one, and does not know my situation, does not know my past or the present and the future, and doesn't have the wisdom like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has? When you internalize this, that there is no one taking care of you, loving you like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no one who has wisdom regarding your situation like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever I have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one has the authority to stop when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to his servants. So then a person never calls on anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر. They do not call on anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is the only one who understands my situation. He is the only one who can give you. No one else can provide for you like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or even if you are provided with risk from sources, remember the fact that those sources were kept in your life by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent risk through those sources. So never, forget that the main source is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِالشَّيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. He knows what is behind, what is in front, and He has three-dimensional, or I would say like seven-dimensional or infinite dimensional knowledge about me, my life, and everything. So why will I not trust His wisdom? ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما. So, moving forward, they do not take the life of any human being because it is made sacred by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except when it's legal, and they do not commit fornication, and whoever does so will face a penalty. So, they do not kill anyone. يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made prohibited on another believer. I remember, I recall a hadith of Prophet ﷺ where he says that how great are you and how great is your sanctity. The Prophet ﷺ is talking to the Kaaba in that hadith where Prophet ﷺ says that how great are you and how great is your sanctity. Yet the believer has greater sanctity to Allah than you. He's talking about the Kaaba. Verily Allah sanctified you once and sanctified the believer thrice in his life, his wealth, and not to consume evil about him. So his life, his wealth, and not to consume evil about him. So the dignity of a believer is valuable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the house, the Kaaba, where the direction in which I pray 5 times a day. That is, the dignity of a believer is way more valuable than the Kaaba. So realize how serious it is to kill anyone without bilhaq, without any reason, right? And wala yaznun, they do not commit fornication. Why? Because it is a grave sin, about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La taqrabu zina, don't even go near it. That's how horrible of a sin it is. And whoever does any of these three things, that they call anyone else other than Allah, they kill a soul without any reason, and they commit fornication, then for them these are the people who are going to face some penalty. And Ibadur Rahman do not do any of these. So with this, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us Ibadur Rahman. مع السلامة.